So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, everybody. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for coming along today. And we appreciate your coming along and your service. And yeah, it's wonderful to see everybody. And I hope you're ready to go on a really powerful journey today. I'll just let latecomers in. So it's lovely to see your beautiful faces. And welcome, welcome, welcome.
他不喜欢英文课。
Just mute Rachel a minute. We've got some noise coming in. Awesome. So thank you very much, everyone, for being on time and being here and showing up early on a Sunday morning. And so today, what I'm hoping to take you on is, and my end result is to take you on a really powerful journey today. And this process is going to be familiar, but also slightly different. And that's okay. So I'd like you to lean into that and lean into all the possibilities that are open to you. So essentially what we're doing today is the theme of the workshop, and it will be an interactive workshop, is mastering the human journey and returning to living from greatness. So the central premise that we're going to be working on is that we're born pure creative spirit, but in our humanness, and part of the journey that we do when we come here and we experience individuation, is that, of course, that leads to us being in our humanness, but also that separation. And if we remember from our workbooks and what William has taught, we go on what's effectively the hero's journey. So we're all born divine creative spirit, and then there is a threat to life. And that threat to life, as we know, comes from the moment we go into our individuation, from the moment we are conceived, literally 3 days after we are conceived, the first organ that develops and starts to beat is our heart. It just goes to show how important living from our heart is. But in that experience of our individuation, we experience threats to life, even though we're pre-verbal and some would argue pre-conscious, we're not. We're taking it all in. We're in that state of hypnosis where we're taking it all in. We're hearing stuff, feeling stuff, sensing stuff from our mothers. We're hearing what's going on. And already the egoic vehicle of our orientation is working out, how is it here? And there is, sometimes people have a wonderful pregnancy and everything's fine until the birth comes along or whatever. There's always something, and there's no such thing as perfect parenting. So this is not about blaming family of origin or what happened to us. It's just that knowing that we are meaning-making machines, and in the egoic orientation, we make up how is it here. And at some point in that process of individuation, from conception to around 5 years old, we make up how it is here. And there's a threat to life. There are some points where we feel some sort of threat to our safety or our being, or our needs are not being met. And often that can be something just as simple that as a newborn baby, we're crying, we want our mother to come to us. She doesn't respond immediately because, she's tired and she's having a little rest while thinking that we're napping. But because we don't know and don't sense the fact that, we don't have the sentience to go like, I understand that my mum just needs a rest right now and it means nothing about me. What we do instead is go like, I'm unlovable. No one meets my needs and I'm not worthy. All this stuff creeps in. And then we go out into the world. And as meaning-making machines, we've already decided how it is here. And then we notice through the individuation process how it is that all these different patterns and limiting beliefs that we've come up with during individuation and our sense of separateness, we go out into the world and we navigate that. But we've already come up with our dysfunctional pattern. We've already come up with our survival strategy, what we're going to do, how we're going to be in the world. And it's not actually our truth. And then there comes a point, like all of you guys here, where our heart wakes up and we think, actually, there's more to life than this. There's something else. There's a calling that I have. There's something that I need to be touching into. And we find this work, and then we're able to open up and realize, yes, we have a greatness, we have a true nature and purpose, and we go on our quest. We go on our quest to understand all of that and reconnect with our divinity and our true essence. So what I want us to do today is essentially go on a hero's journey in completeness all the way around the whole circle. So what we're going to do today, if you can make sure that you have a pen and paper to hand or an electronic device, we're going to be writing and recording what we're getting. But what we're going to do first of all is we're going to step into our greatness, into who we were before we came here, and make a really good record of that. We're going to write it down. We're going to have a really good record of what it is that we were in our greatness. And then we'll come back and then we'll go in from there once you've had a really good record of your greatness and everything that you came to do, uncovering your true nature and purpose, uncovering your gifts and talents, all the energy that you had to bring here, what your expectations were, what you were wanting to do. So we're going to connect you with that. Write that down. Writing is a powerful way of solidifying what we get and making it real, putting it there. And then we'll go on the individuation journey and see how everything else has played out, how our patterns have played out and how our dysfunction has played out. And then what we're going to do is actually a completion exercise on that, on individuation. We're going to complete on it and say what we've learned, what we've created and what we're over, what we're not going to be taking forward from now. So we're going to complete on that, on the premise that the past is over and we can let that go. And when we've done that exercise, and another little thing that I'm going to throw in that you might not have had before, then we will go back into greatness so that you leave the session having pacified the dragon and coming back to the village with your treasure and all the things that you're going to be doing from here on in and choosing to live from greatness. So I hope everyone's excited about the journey we're going on today. Lovely. Thank you so much for your good energy. Wonderful. So this really is a very empowering process. I've tested it and tried it a few times and I just think it's the nuts. I'm setting the intention today that, this session is going to be super powerful. We're all going to have an amazing time, all lending our energy. Hopefully plenty of time for sharing as well, what's coming up for people and what we're getting, what's landing. So it's obviously, as we go on the individuation, it is a powerful journey and we can see where all the needs and the validation that we sought to be safe, how we forgot who we truly are. I like the analogy that I learned many, many years ago, the sort of analogy that we're actually born perfect, flawless diamonds. That's who we are in our creative nature, in our divinity, everything about us. We're just born perfect, flawless diamonds. And when we can connect to that place in ourselves, connect to our heart, we go back to source. We open up to the superconscious. We open up to our greatness and the all that is. But as we go through individuation and that separation experience, every little thing that happens, regardless of from whom, whether it's our parents or fellow classmates when we go to school, teachers, other authority figures, whatever it is like bits of mud get thrown at our beautiful heart. And eventually, and they all stick and they harden. And then over the course of all of that kind of stuff happening, we get into our teens. And then we're looking at our identity, we're deciding who are we going to be in the world. And what we do, we've forgotten that we're pure creative spirit, a perfect, flawless diamond. And instead what we do, we look at our heart and go, ooh, I think I want to present myself as this or that. And so we paint it and we stick glitter on it and fairy dust and all sorts of things. And then we go out into the world and say, this is who I am. It's actually just a version of who we want to present, who we think we need to be. And we've forgotten who we truly are. So this is a journey of actually chipping all those layers of mud off, all that stuff, and actually coming back to the pure, flawless diamond that we actually are in our essence, in our truth, and what it is that we're here to do. So I don't know about you, but I'm super excited to take you on this journey because I've got angel bumps. So, because you're all trained in the work, I don't think I necessarily need to frame anything else up unless anyone feels that they'd like to ask anything or share anything at this point. But if we're ready, we'll get cracking. Yes, Aileen.
How long are we in the breakout rooms for?
We're not in breakout rooms. Everything is happening in session today.
Oh, I'm just saying here. Okay.
yeah, everything is happening here in the room. We're going to keep the energy going and have beautiful shares and everything else. So everything's just going to be led here in the main space. Awesome. Brilliant. So to start with, let's just settle into the space. Let's just maybe shake down like the deer does in the forest when they've had a little bit of a scare or whatever, and they go and resettle their central nervous system. So we just like shake it out. And we'll just kind of settle into where we are today. Just taking a few conscious breaths, closing your eyes if you feel comfortable to do so, and just really noticing where we're at right now. Because what I want us to do is to come into this space right into the now, you know? And I've heard a really interesting thing the other day, and it's something that I've heard before, but it just landed with me again that, you know, being in the now is so important. Every now moment is given to us. Life is happening for us, not to us. And every moment, in every point in time, we are creating, and we can choose our awareness to go wherever we want it to go. But we're in the present. And so not only is that present, you know, it's a gift for us and part of our learning journey, but the present is also a gift. It's a gift for us to open up to awareness and to come into awareness. So just settling down, noticing where you are, taking a few conscious breaths, just choosing to let go of anything that might have already happened today, emptying out, just noticing how your body is supported, where you're sitting. I'm just sitting in an open position to allow a free flow of energy, allowing that energy to come through. And to start with, let's just make an intention, because today, what we want to do is to connect with our greatness. And it's all about intention. So we intend to get the benefit of the exercise. We intend to be of service to ourselves and also the group. We choose to be open to receiving all the amazing knowledge and wisdom that we're going to get today, and be open to receiving all of that. Whether it's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just information, and it's useful information for us. And you know what your greatness is. It's our true nature and purpose, the gifts, talents, and abilities that we have that serve our mission in this life. And it's our connection to everything through all time and space. It's our divinity. It's our spirit. It's our higher self. So get comfortable, but choose to stay focused and no babooning. And it would be, if you feel so inclined, to close your eyes. There'll be a writing opportunity after this. I really want you to just be fully immersed in this experience. And so just put yourself into innocence. Empty out of all thoughts, feelings, preconceptions. Just really tap into the energy of the childlike awe and wonder at the world, the prejudgment before we were hypnotized. And so, beautiful people, I now want you to imagine a beautiful ball of light above your head. You can see and easily imagine a beautiful ball of light. You can see it. It's like a small sun, about the size of a large beach ball, hovering about a meter above your head. It's full of purity, energy, bliss. And in this space, you're empty and you're weightless. And you can imagine and see yourself rise up into that beautiful golden ball of light that's yours. And you're in the field, in this light. You're in the field of your greatness. And you just notice it. You're just there in your greatness, in your vastness, your expansiveness, in your freedom, in your joy, your life force, your heart, your goodwill, your power, your infinity, your eternity, and whatever else it is that you sense. And you get whatever it is you need to know. You get an absolute sense of what you're about, your unique greatness. And this is who you really are. before you came to Earth for an experience, before you experienced separation. And in the golden ball of light, you're just pure spirit. You're not your earthly personality. You're not your beliefs. You're not your limitations. That's just the egoic vehicle that holds you here, that anchors you on Earth. And it's your humanness. And your humanness, it's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. But even more beautiful is your soul, your heart, your power, your golden ball of light is an eternal energy which you can effortlessly rise into and become at any time. It's a symbol of your divinity, of your greatness. And as you rise up into this light and become the light, stand in the light, you're in the field of your greatness. And you're not just in it, you are it. And you get just how powerful you are, how alive and dynamic, how creative and magical you are, and whatever it is that you get. This is your unique greatness. It's the brilliance of your being, the eternal brilliance, your oneness with this earth and planet and life and everything. So really just lean into what it is to be in your golden ball of light. Just sense your energy. Sense who you are. Sense what you came here to do, your true nature and purpose, your gifts and talents, all the things you're wanting to bring. Maybe you had a mission, maybe whatever. But just really get this sense of your eternal brilliance, your oneness with this earth and planet and life and everything. Your sense of connectedness with the all. Sense your energy, your service, your inherent service that you offer the world, your love, your guardianship, your collaboration, the threads that you bring to weave into the tapestry of life on this earth. You feel it, you sense it, you get it. You are woven into the fabric of existence on planet Earth. And we're all threads that weave into this beautiful tapestry. We're here as a collective. And you see, you can really see that you have a part in the grand scheme of things. And in this space, I also want you to marvel at your own awesomeness, the true awesomeness, real, true, deep awesomeness that you might have lost touch with up to now. When you recognize the truth, you're actually a master of the universe. So just really connect into your greatness now, just really feel into it, deepen into it, soften into it. Just really allow all those sensations to come, get that really visceral sense of what you're seeing, feeling, experiencing, sensing everything in your greatness, your own unique greatness. And then when you're ready, just relax your focus, come back to the room, pick up your pen and paper or your electronic device, and just spend the next few minutes writing down all that you saw, you sensed, experienced, what you understood, exactly about who you are in your greatness. I'll give you plenty of time to do that. Just write it all out, you know, writing is such a powerful exercise for concretizing things and just really getting it out and just notice, you know, notice everything that you experienced and you felt in that space, what it was like to be in your own unique greatness. And just really notice what it was that you just understood and got about who you are and your greatness. Yes, and your talents and everything that you chose to come here and do and be, how you were going to be in the world. The energy that you felt in your heart of hearts and came here to do, or to be, or what you wanted to experience, how you wanted to show up in the world. And just in your awesomeness, right? In your absolute awesomeness. Because there's no one quite like you. Each of us that come here to the planet, we're a miracle. It's a miracle that any of us are here. We have an incredible lineage. We all have beautiful energy. We all have greatness. We all have a heart. We all have unique gifts and abilities that we're choosing to bring. And if what you saw was symbolic, then you know what to do. Unpack the symbols, lean into them. What does it mean? What is it telling you? What is it that you're getting? Just really lean into that. Do a real deep dive into your greatness. All the things, all the things that you truly are. Really allow yourself to write down the richness and the fullness of that experience of being in your greatness. Just another minute or so just to really capture everything, that real essence. You may want to write a list of what you captured, the real essence of you and your greatness. This exercise with your greatness. I don't just want you to observe it, I really want you to feel it, really lean into it, really embody that greatness of what it is to be in your heart. Really lean into that. That's great. This is something we will come back to later. And obviously, at any point in time, you can rise up into your greatness, into your golden ball of light and go deeper with it. After this class, you can always go back and reflect and go deeper into that. And just capture it all. Okay. So before we move on, let's just have some shares and concretize what it is that experience was like for you, and what you got, and share what landed for you during that exercise. I would like to come off mute and just share what that experience was like of really stepping into your greatness and embodying that greatness. That would be great. Yes, Lauren, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, that was really spectacular because, especially when you said, I want you to really embody it and feel what it's like, I really then did actually almost shapeshift into it a bit more. But yeah, just beautiful. I got a lot of symbols. Most of it was all around love. Like immediately, it was all about love, spreading love, um, being a symbol of love, and just reminding people what life is all about. Love, love, and then from love is joy. Um, and yeah, like a purity, a happiness. And then I had lots of energy, which was lovely, like because when you're fueled by love, everything was easy. But at one point I was like a pinball, but not in a pinball where it was like I wasn't literally a pinball, that wasn't a symbol, but like my energy was shooting around. And it was just excitement, it was just like a true freedom and excitement to be like, yes, like we literally are limitless and we can do multiple trillion things at any one given time because we're actually all powerful. And then that's kind of what came through next is all this empowerment and like spreading empowerment to people. We're all magical and we're all powerful beyond measure. And that really came through, this power of who we truly are, and then the magic, and then it was just gorgeous. So yeah, I felt really almost like at a point of being naked and bare, but fully complete and whole. So it was, yeah, really beautiful.
Oh, that's amazing. Thanks, Lauren. That's a lovely, lovely share. I'm sure all of us can feel that. I can feel into your greatness. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing. That was a great, great kickoff for us, right? Anyone else like to share their experience of really living in their greatness? Thank you, Sue. And then Rachel.
Thank you for this reminder. It's a while since I've gone back to that exercise, so it's just beautiful to get back into that. And very similar, I was just feeling very calm and feeling that connection across time and space, and just having a huge vision from a hilltop, um, clarity and knowing my purpose and able to follow the obvious steps easily and ignore distractions. Um, and yeah, my stuff was around love, here to love and be loved and share love, and just really lovely messages, and just really enjoyed getting back into that space, and great reminder. So thank you, Nikki.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome, Sue. Thank you for your lovely share. What beautiful energy too, isn't it? Just glorious. Rachel, my lovely.
Hi.
Hi, hi.
So when I started mine, I was, as you know, I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. So it's been a long day, and I started and I was like feeling frustrated and angry, angsty, and I'm like, why can't I get into my greatness? And and then just like going through, then all this sort of depressive, negative stuff came up, and then what, which is what I think I've shied. Like I've been through big problems in my past and challenges, and I sort of kind of pushed them down, and it was really making me see this time that part of my greatness is my ability to hold the space for those, hold the tension and hold the space, and be able to see these problems and things creatively, and have that sort of determination and limitless sort of ability to keep sort of going, well, there must be a solution, and be able to then sort of guide other people through that. And I think it's the first time I've really allowed myself to step into that stuff, because it's kind of been like, oh, that's not my greatness, that's the shit that I've gone through. But part of that shit is like embracing and taking on all of it, and part of that is my greatness, and that ability to be able to see like all the pieces for the puzzle far more than a lot of other people can see, and then be able to put the chess pieces into place is a big part of what my greatness is. And it's been a part that I've just shut down and denied for so long, that it's, it was really profound being able to see that this time. So, yeah.
I'm so pleased, Rachel. I'm so pleased. It's amazing. You have the most powerful work to do, that. And when we're in our greatness and when we really get our true nature and purpose, it's just fantastic, because it reveals everything that we're wanting to do, what's our heart's mission. And we all have different things to do. But yeah, that's brilliant share. Thank you so much, Rachel, and I honor you for your commitment. Yeah, fantastic. Well done for bringing your great energy to the room today. Thank you so much. Right, would anyone else like to go before we move on? Yeah, Surinder. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so I was a bit like Rachel actually in the beginning. I was like, oh my God, I just can't seem to connect with my greatness, and all these, thoughts were coming into my head of maybe I just can't be great, and all these, the beliefs that would just sit you in, that was really disconnecting me. And I just kind of just went with what's obvious in the beginning. And it was really unusual, because it's the first time something different's come up, in terms of a ballerina which was spinning but in full control of herself, and as I kind of explored the whole experience, yes, there was love, there was joy, there was abundance, and there was a sense of coming off the spin and really falling gracefully, and not falling in. It was a sense of having control of myself and having control as a creator of time and space and being totally connected to it in that fall, allowing myself to just trust that natural instinct. And that was really beautiful because it felt really empowering, and it felt like I was in my element. And from that space, it felt like I was inspiring because of going through my journey. I was really just inspiring others from a space of, I can do it, you can do it, and all everything, the whole process from the spin to how the structure of the body was, everything just really brought so many insights that felt really empowering, which I've never ballerinos so far from what I would have thought I would have stepped into, but just using that and just going with what was obvious about the whole process, and even it's almost like a little story being played out.
Yeah.
But it felt really empowering, and it was something that I was not taking on board, which is the graceness of that as well.
Yes.
And that part actually felt like, oh, it just felt like, oh, that felt really good. So I'm just embracing that at the moment, and it feels
That's
really
wonderful. Excellent. Well, just allow it to all percolate through, after the class as well, just allow it to percolate in. And, this is the reconnection, and it's important that we see it. And of course, with the egoic part of ourselves is kind of like a bit scared of our greatness because it's off-piste from what it's used to doing, as we'll see as we go through. So brilliant share, Surinder. Thank you so much. Glad it really landed for you and you got new information. Aileen or Chris, is there anything you'd like to add, or are we ready? Yeah, Chris?
Yeah, so what I was getting is what's being reinforced for me last few weeks, doing all of the work that I'm doing is primarily about connection and connecting back to me and connecting to greatness, and then helping others connect through. And looking through is like, at the beginning, it's like I wanted to be disconnected from everything so I can do the reconnection and be able to show others how to reconnect as well. So
Fantastic.
yeah, good.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Brilliant. Right then. Well, now we are complete on that. We'll just set it to one side. It's not going anywhere. We're just setting it to one side because, like I said, we're going to be mastering the whole human journey today and going on our hero's journey. So we've connected with our greatness. We've remembered who we are. We remember what we've come here to do, what it feels like when we're in our greatness. What a wonderful thing that is. But obviously, as we know, when we come here, part of how it was explained to me the other day is like when we're connected everything to all time and space, and when we're up there in the source, in the field, and that sort of thing, that actually, we get a little bit restless. All that kind of oming is good, but we get a bit bored, and we actually choose to have a human experience. And that's our humanness. When we come in our humanness and we have the inevitable separation, and it kind of landed for me the other day because I always thought it was a real design flaw that, if we're light workers and we've come here and we've got true nature and purpose and there's things we're here to do and we've come to spread love and joy and light and lead by example and wake people up and yada, yada, yada. It seemed like a real design flaw to me to have to forget everything. Just like, why does it take so long to kind of wake up? But then I realized it actually really landed for me that actually we have to experience stuff. And it speaks, a lot to what, Surinder and Rachel, what you've expressed is that, part of the pain and part of the humanness of our experience is actually good grounding, good lessons in being able to show people how you can go from one state of being and you can either attach to that or you can actually choose differently, choose a creative orientation, and we can live by example. We can shine our light and say, look, all this stuff happened to me. I understand you. I get you. We're relatable. This is how we're going to wake people up. It's part of our collective mission is to raise the consciousness of the planet. So, it's really powerful to realize that for me anyway, in particular, was like, I needed to experience my humanness in order to be the person that I am today and in order to be able to do the work that I want to go on and do. And if I hadn't forgotten where I came from, my individuation and my separation wouldn't have had the same flavor. It wouldn't have had the same impact or the same dysfunction that is actually required in order to then wake up and go into an advancing creative orientation. So all of it was necessary and all of it was purposeful. And if I was still connected to love and light, I wouldn't have had the human experience of separateness that I came here to have. But our humanness is beautiful. And I think that's what I, want to convey. This, as we know, we on this planet we kind of live in a duality. But we know that when we're connected to source, there is no duality. There is no good or bad. There just is. Everything just is. And it's useful to have that perspective. So now we're going to go into the individuation exercise. So we know our greatness, but we're just going to put it to one side because obviously as part of us becoming human and coming here is we experience separation. And that's good, actually, right? So it's part of the journey. It's part of us becoming who we really are. So now we're complete in writing everything down that we know about our truth. We're going to go back and experience the individuation and separation and see how we actually forgot who we really were and how we became separated in order to experience our humanness. And in this exercise, we are observing this. We're observing it and we're going to mine for the information. So again, I'd like you to set an intention to get the benefit of this exercise. I've done individuation umpteen times, and I can tell you that every time I do it, I get something more. Sometimes I've done individuation specifically about a certain issue or topic, like where did that come from? What was I getting? When did that come in? So I could do the parts work with it. But today, let's just get a general flavor of how you became separate from your greatness. And we'll capture all of that, knowing it's just information. We're observing it. We're not re-traumatizing ourselves. We're just seeing it for what it is, right? The illusion that it is, and just remember, I like to use the analogy of the Wizard of Oz, right? Everyone who was in the land of Oz, they'd gone there to fix themselves. They'd gone there to fix themselves. They'd gone there to try and mend something about themselves that they thought was broken. And, like the Tin Man and the Scarecrow wanted a brain and the Lion that wanted a heart and courage and all that, they've gone to fix themselves. And it was only Toto, the dog, who was actually in innocence. He just went along for the ride because he was loyal to Dorothy. He didn't go to fix himself. He knew he was complete. And he was the one that pulled back the veil and revealed what was really the truth. That it's all an illusion, right? So this is the journey that we're going on. So once again, we'll just empty out, go into innocence, just set the intention to get the benefit of the exercise. We're just seeing it for what it is. No more than that. We're just seeing everything for what it truly is. And it's information, and we're just going to use that as information. But I do want you to get a thorough inventory of what it was and the things, and particularly embracing the different things that came from that, the limiting beliefs, the feelings of the sort of compensations, all of that. We're trying to capture all of that because after this, we're going to let it go. The past is over. So it's really useful to try and set the intention and get a thorough inventory of what it is that you know and can see about what happened, how your humanness covered your heart. So emptying out and setting the intention. So just once again, just to start with, we'll go back into that golden ball of light, back up, rising back up into that brilliant ball of light, that brilliant symbol of your own true nature. Allowing yourself again to receive and rise up into your light, be in the field of your light and your greatness, and just hang with the tension of that greatness and be in that field. And own your own light, your own magic. Whatever way it represents itself to you, you're standing in your light, in the field of your greatness. And you receive yourself. You're one of the gods, one of the kings, one of the queens, one of the stars of mythology, the master of the universe. And now you're going to go on a journey. And also, this is a real opportunity, another gateway of exiting the matrix. And we're going to write it down thoroughly afterwards, because writing, as you know, is an intuitive process. And as you write, things can clarify and crystallize. I'll give you a bit longer for writing this time. So we really want to get everything out and set the intention to get, everything that you really need to get out today for this second chance in life. So let's set an intention to really get it. And let your energy be focused, be comfortable, but also focused. So sitting relaxed and comfortable, focused, eyes closed, a few deep breaths. And in your greatness, in the energy of your oneness, you imagine that you're a light, body of light, you're a star, beautiful star traveling across the universe, through the galaxies and star and space. You're a star with a clear sense of where you're going. You're going to planet Earth. You've come to play here on planet Earth and have an individual experience of existence. And yet, whilst you're there, you'll fulfill a purpose and bring a thread to the weave of the tapestry of what we're all weaving together on planet Earth. And you're on a mission with your gifts and talents and everything that serves you. And you have a passion for that. You're excited about that. And you notice your mission, your energy, your soul urge. Just imagine all of that as this beautiful star heading towards Earth. Really looking forward to this thing that you've chosen to do and you've signed up to. Okay, you might not have read the small print, but you don't know that yet. You're just going. You're going full on. You're fully on into this experience. So just see that, this beautiful star hurtling across. And then, just imagine. Imagine that you arrive on planet Earth. And of course, your arrival occurs with your conception. And there's this huge, incredible molecular explosion. And you're conceived. And now you're already forming in your mother's womb. And even at the earliest time, at the first cells dividing, you're already conscious. And you're already in the game. And you're already looking for validation. Your heart forms and starts beating as the first thing. So you've come here with your heart. And as you start experiencing everything through your heart, you're nonetheless looking for validation because your heart is now contained in the egoic vehicle of orientation. The embryo that you are, cells that are developing and dividing and growing and developing and dividing and growing exponentially at this point. And as you're in your mother's womb and going through this whole process of this journey before birth, you're looking even now for feminine validation, for nurturing, protection, care, and connection to the heart of your mother. And you want to know that there's a connection. You want to know that there's a belonging for you and a love and a connection and a nurturing and a care. You want to know all those things. And as you're in the womb, just imagine that. Imagine that burning need you have, even then, for validation. And just notice through this whole process, just in any way in which your need for feminine validation and validation generally is unmet. For validation in terms of your sense of yourself, your sense of your expectations. You came here in any way in which that's not being met. Just notice anything that might be feeling missing, things that are a bit awry. And notice what it is and what you make of it. Just notice what you decide about that. About yourself, about the feminine, about others, about the world, and your projection, what this means about life, what you're going to have to expect, what you should expect in this life, and what this means about life and how it will go for you in your life in this experience. What is it you're going to have to deal with? What projection this creates, the belief it creates, the projection it creates. And so, just follow your journeys you're forming in your mother's womb and just keep following that and just keep noticing that need for nurturing in any way in which that's unmet and what you make up about it, what you decide about it. And project the anticipation of what that means for you and how your life is set up. And so just following that through, and all that you picked up even then before you were even born, now you're coming to that time of your birth. You're born, and maybe there's even an event at your birth, which lends weight to your individuation experience that affects your nurturing, your need for nurturing, the beliefs that you're forming. And just notice what happens at your birth, what that experience was like for you. And just notice that and follow yourself as you go through that sort of feminine nurturing phase, being a tiny newborn baby. And then what it is like when you're now home and you're born, you're outside of your mother, but you're still very much connected to your mother. You don't see any separation. Babies don't experience separation from their mother until much later. So you still have this real connection. You still want to know that you're really connected and that your hearts are connected and that you're valid and that your needs can be met. And just notice what it is like for you in those formative first few months of your existence here on earth. We're in the phase where the mother must hold the baby close so that it knows it belongs in the world, and you're in that phase. You're developing now. You're born, and now you're forming physically, emotionally, mentally. Life's happening. You're getting bigger. You're growing. In what way are you wounded in relation to the feminine nurturing? How are you let down relative to your expectations and to your needs? And what do you make of that? What does this mean about you and your life as you're growing older and you're perhaps taking your first steps? You've reached a year and you're progressing now through to being a toddler, and it's taking everything in. You're hypnotized, taking everything in, and you're making meaning of it. We're meaning-making machines. So what's happening with the feminine? And what are you making it mean about you and your life? Because also, as we're meaning-making machines, we're going to be working out strategies about how we're going to deal with all of this stuff, how we're going to cope with it. What's missing from the recipe of what it is that you need, and what you're going to have to find in order to kind of, bring yourself to wholeness. And so now, going from that period of being like 18 months to 2 years, and you're kind of getting more independent and you're wanting to exert your will, and maybe that's something that is squashed in you. But also now you're starting to go beyond just requiring the nurturing of your mother and the validation from your mother, and you're starting to gravitate towards your father. And it's not that you're going to spend all the time with your father, but in terms of your validation, you're still going to be requiring the attention and the nurturing of your mother, but you're actually navigating your way and gravitating towards your father in terms of validation. You're transferring your attention to him. This is like the ages of 2, 3, 4, up to 5. What's happening for you during this particular period. You're more independent, you're walking, talking, getting around, coping with the physical world, the material world. You're mastering speech and relationships and connections. Perhaps you've got siblings, or you've got other friends and family. Perhaps you go to a kindergarten or a nursery or whatever, and you're starting to put your own clothes on and this and that, and you're really starting to function in the world. And this is where you come to in terms of individuation, where you come into your father's field and you look, for your father. You need your father to see you, and you need your father's acknowledgement. And you need your father to show you how it is here. And sort of like the indigenous culture saying your mother gives you a sense that you have a heart, and your father gives you the assurance that you can bring your heart out into the world. You want your father to take you to the highest hill so you can see how it is, right? You can see your universe, your kingdom, right? You can see everything that is there for you. And you want him to see you, and you want him to approve of you. And you want it to know that you'll succeed in the world. You need that. Your ego desperately needs that validation. It's really important. And so notice that need of what you need from that father, that significance and validation you need from him. And just notice also in any way in which your father doesn't give you that. He doesn't take you up to the highest hill. You might just go part way. How short top of the mountain do you reach, right? And at what times and in what ways doesn't he see you? He doesn't acknowledge you. Because this is how the masculine validation is unmet. And when it's unmet, as meaning-making machines, we make it about us. It's something about us. So what are we making it up? What does it mean about you? Masculine? Others? The world? Life? What definitions and meanings do you give to yourself, others, and the world? And also, again, what are you making up and solidifying about what this means for you, about what you can expect in life, how you're going to expect your life to go, what you're going to have to cope with, what you're going to have to deal with? Just really notice that. And just allow yourself to receive all this information, right? Because you're observing it. You're observing it. Observing what you experienced, what you made up. And what did you tell yourself that you needed to do to survive at that time? Really explore and notice that. Because we know, our ego is our survival orientation. It's coming up with strategies. How is it here? How do I survive? What's my dysfunctional pattern going to be in order to make sure that I stay safe? And then just follow on from there when you're ready, Take yourself through your life from 5 years old, from that part, from, you've done from conception to 18 months to 2 years, the mother phase, 3, 4, 5, the father phase. And you've had various experiences, you've taken on beliefs, you've figured out your strategies, and then you follow through on those strategies unwittingly, unconsciously. It's an unconscious process, but you're following through on that, and you're starting venturing out from home. You're going to school. Maybe taking to other children's houses to play, or maybe you have friends over, and you're having to navigate all of that and what it's like to form relationships with your peers, but also other alternative authority figures, teachers, headmistresses, head teachers, headmasters, other people, going out into the world, changing schools. Maybe you stay in one house, maybe you move around a lot. All of that's going to have an impact on how you interact with the world and how you deal with teachers and carers, people beyond your mother and father, people beyond your family, other kids, other boys, other girls, all of that. Through all your school years, primary, junior, middle, whatever, high school, middle school, whatever it is, whatever schooling system you went through, just follow yourself as you're going through all that and the changes that requires from you. And also, taking on board the fact that now you're learning, you're being taught a load of stuff. You're learning information, not just about life, but, you're being taught subjects. You're being teaching maths and science and new languages and art and geography and sport and blah, blah, blah. And there's all this stuff you're taking on, and just noticing any key events, any key patterns. Just notice a whole pattern of experience that's happening for you as you move through and coming online as your teenage years. As I said before, where, your heart has been thoroughly closed over, you've forgotten who you truly are, and you're painting a picture of who you are going out into the world. And just notice what you took on, what you came to believe about yourself, what you thought your identity was, how you had to present yourself, what you had to do in order to fit in, and just kind of what happened, what locked you in, and sort of set the course for how your life was going to unfold until you were able to come back to yourself. And just notice how the prophecy of the patterns, the beliefs have fulfilled themselves throughout your life. And you're going out into the adult world. Perhaps you go to university or college, or maybe you get your first job. You're entering into the first sort of like kind of serious relationships with whoever. You might be getting into serious relationships, you might be shacking up with someone, you might not be, you might be traveling, whatever it is that you're doing. Just notice what you're doing. You might be getting married and having a family, or establishing a career, or trying to work out what it is that you want to do, maybe trying lots of different things, who knows? But you're getting out there now, you're in the adult world, you're taking ownership and being independent and doing your thing, maybe renting your own place, sharing it with others, perhaps buying your first home, whatever it is. Just notice, take yourself through everything everything that you've done, all the key events and patterns and beliefs that have shown up all the way through, right up to your life at this point, and just really noticing all of that. And just noticing all the patterns of experience and, your humanness. It's not a bad thing. Humanness is beautiful. Greatness is more beautiful, but your humanness is beautiful too. And it's just powerful information so that we can be over it, right? And so then when you're ready, when you feel clear in your journey, I want you to pick up your writing materials or electronic device, whatever that is, and just start recording all of that down. And writing is a very creative process, an intuitive process. You know that as you start the act of writing, more will come. And if you feel like you're stuck, just go back and just ask, what else? Take yourself right back, right to the beginning, and just write this whole kind of history, a potted history of what you experienced in your individuation. I'll give you a chunk of time to do that because we want to get as full a picture as we can out of all of that. Okay. It might be easier, to maybe write a list of bullet points of things, however it works for you, but just really noticing what are the beliefs that you formed, what was your relationship and your wounding in relation to the feminine and the masculine, how that's kind of impacted your life until this point, all the different things that have happened, the patterns that might have been fulfilled, always, as we know with our dysfunctional pattern, we form that between the ages of 0 and 5, right? It's our dysfunction, and our ego is wedded to it because it's a survival strategy. As far as your ego vehicle is concerned, your ego is not malicious or anything of that nature. It's just trying to know how it is to survive here. And up until this point, right here, right now, in the present, it's all been pre-sent. The present is a gift. Right now, the ego is going, oof, 100% survival rate. 100% survival rate. My strategy is good. My strategy is sound. I don't want to deviate from it. And so you have a survival strategy. You have a dysfunctional pattern. You have limiting beliefs. And these have played out. And we just want to getting them all out so we can do that beautiful completion on letting it go. So really just notice everything that you need to notice. Just lean in, hold with the tension of what it is, because we hold, as creators, we're able to hold the tension between what we love, what we really are, our greatness, and the truth. Not just the truth of who we are, but the truth of the current reality, the truth of humanness, the truth of our separation wounds, the truth of all of that. So really allow yourself to dig in, receive, write it down, get it down. And we're going to own it, right? Because it's all the better to serve us in moving on, moving forward, and the whole letting go. So we're just going to keep writing. We're going to go for about another 7 minutes or so. Just dig in, lean in. Really lay it all out. Just really make a list and a thorough inventory. We're going to come back to it. Just make a list of all the things that you can just really see. Just pour it all out, get it all out on the page. But it's just information. It's not the truth of who we are. So we can allow ourselves to see it fully, knowing it's not the truth. It's an illusion. It's all the things we thought we needed to fix and compensate for, and how we had to behave and be, and what we thought, and all that before we woke up to ourselves. In terms of the human journey and mastering the human journey, we're well and truly in the sludge of our quest. We're on that bit of the human journey between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the wheel, the clock of the human journey. We're in the sludge. And it's okay to be in the swamp. Because I promise you, we will be coming out of that swamp and returning glorious back to our village with all our wisdom and knowledge. But right now, the swamp is a very useful place to be. Just be prepared to immerse yourself in the full swampiness of your separation and all of that grot. Your experience of individuation, it might be really familiar to you. It's like you've seen it before, and that's fine. But there'll also be new information. There'll be new insights. Ask for those new insights. What other pings are you getting? What other realizations are you getting? Just lean into it and love it. Love the fact that we have this opportunity to get all this grot and see it for what it really is, which, as we know, actually is our rocket fuel for creation. It's only Grado. You can transmute it like the lotus flower, right? I always love the analogy of the lotus flower. The lotus flower's roots are really deep down in all the dark, grotty mud. But the lotus flower uses it as a rocket fuel to rise up and bloom and be beautiful. So we're just in that process of fooling around, getting it out fully, so we can really see what it is that we've experienced and what we're ready to let go of. Right, so we'll just take a couple more minutes because we want to make sure we have time for shares and what's landing, what's learning. And there'll be a flavour, there'll be definite themes and a flavour to what it is that you've experienced and what the story is that you've told yourself, the stories that we've been wedded to in our identity, which we know are just an illusion and no longer true. Just allowing it, all those themes and beliefs and everything, just to come forward and just be really crystal clear and distill it down into, a list of things. Just search for real clarity and the fact that Rachel's cat has come here to be a familiar. We love it. Beautiful feline energy into the space. Beautiful. You have a minute or so to go and then just capturing the themes, the flavors, the essences, the beliefs, just all of that. Distilling it into, you can really see the pattern, the separateness. One require longer, one complete. Yeah, I'm doing. Those of you that complete, let's just hold space till everyone's ready, because we're doing this together and we're lending out energy to everybody in the room. Just hang there, very beautiful. Just give me a thumbs up when you're complete. So, ready? Perfect. Well done, everybody. Thank you. Right, well, let's just come back to the room before we move on. Let's just have a couple of shares, just to say how that experience was and what you got, and whether you got new information, new insights, or what it was like to see all of that. If anyone would like to kick off and share, yes, please, Rachel. Thank you. And then Surinder.
So I was at the beginning of that, the thing that was different from that, what I've done in the past, was that I really had that sense of this huge power and this excitement as the star, and that I was going to Earth to play this game called the Hunger Games. And it was a game to death, and that then when I was in my room, I got this real sense of, this burden of my mother's shame and feeling like I was responsible for her happiness or unhappiness. And so I was born with like this massive, big, like huge boulder on my back, and I was like carrying this, and that it also, like, it sort of was representational of this massive power that I has as the star, and I had to have something so huge in the human experience to crush down that power and to, push it down so I forgot it, so I could play the game of life. And so that sort of experience of it took it away from so much being about, fuck mum, she's fucked me up kind of thing, to, that I created this to have the human experience. And then, the flavor of, it was really much more about the observing rather than in the past being so attached to family of origin and what they've done to me. In this time that I did it, it was really about having a bit more of that wisdom and being able to see it from above and see things as information and an experience, and playing the game, the Hunger Games, and creating these like life and death almost scenarios in my life to prove my viability and to prove. And I think then throughout life, the thing that came back was like having to have the world validate me, and when it doesn't, feeling this extreme pain. And so being able to just have that information and to be able to use it now is really powerful.
Thank you. What a great share, Rachel. I'm so delighted. I'm so delighted. It was profound. And I think that's one of the differences which I was trying to frame up for us, was that when we go in our greatness, I want you to really feel it and embody it. But when we do the individuation, I want you to observe it, and to really see it for what it is and have that sort of detachment where you can see it. So thank you for that. That's a really great share. Who was next? Sorry, was it Surinder next? Yeah, perfect. Thanks, love.
Yeah, so thank you for that. It was such an amazing experience to go through that. Seeing your life being played out from the moment of the start, but literally up until this moment now even. It's amazing what we can create when we make it up, and all I kept seeing was, made up so much, so many beliefs, so much shit, right? And I'm thinking, it's just all of it's made up. There's no factual evidence whatsoever in any of it at any point. Yes, there were situations, but all of it's been made up. And at moments I noticed I was really feeling into them, right? Really feeling into, oh my God, I remember feeling and really experiencing it, but then also remembering at the same time that this is a moment in time, and also the distance of, I'm not in that situation. I'm not in that threatful situation, and noticing how I've been giving my power away, throughout this whole process, and how life's panned out for me, and even choices I made at different points in my life, why I made those choices, the experiences I've had, and a bit like you, Rachel, as well. Like, when you're at the start, yeah, great, it's all fantastic. As soon as I entered the room, it was like, oh my God, why am I here? And it was really scary, that fear element, and the disconnection in that whole process. But again, seeing it as it's all made up. It's all been made up, and I've made it up purely because I've been disconnected from who I truly am. So that's beautiful.
Brilliant,
Profound
Surinder, because that's
experience,
a
but yeah, it was
beautiful,
involved.
I mean, that's a beautiful description, because, like in your greatness, you really sensed your power, didn't you? And how empowered you were with graceful power, the ballerina and the graceful power. And then look what happened. As soon as you come here, it's like, you have to forget all about that, young lady. You're not allowed to remember that just yet, because you've come here to have this other experience instead. I'm so, really, really pleased. Great shares, everyone. That's amazing. Fantastic. Right. Because I know we're a little bit pressed for time. Is everyone okay just to run over a little bit with time? Is everyone okay with that? Because brilliant, awesome. And if you're not, don't worry, because obviously this is being recorded. The recording will go up, and you can just take yourself through the process again. But so what I want us to do now is that now you've acknowledged your individuation and your humanness and what you experience. What we want to do is to let it go, right? So this is the part of letting go, doing a completion on it. This is like the bridge of moving into mastering the human journey and living from your greatness, is to do the past is over. Because you've seen what we've created up till now. And it's a beautiful thing, because as we know, what we've created up to now, we can create differently and create better, because now we can create from our greatness instead. But what I really want to do to make this really powerful is actually to do a completion and do the past is over. So we really let go of this stuff for once and for all. What you can do afterwards, I mean, if you wish, whatever it is you wrote about your individuation, you can always just tear it up, But what I'd like you to do, first of all, is in acknowledging the premise and the bridge that the past is over. We know we made it all up, and so we can make it all up anew. we can break free from those dysfunctional patterns and the beliefs and the this and the that we knew took our energy away. Thanks, Sue. Take care. And we can, so the bridge is to complete and all of that. So what I'd like you to do is just, not spending too much time on it, but just writing down the answers. I've got a few questions for you. I just want you to write down a couple of sentences or whatever that captures. So as part of the completion process, as part of this passes over thing. So the first thing on the completion process that we're going to do is the first question is, what have I learnt? What has my individuation taught me? What have I learned? And what has my individuation taught me? What have you learned? And what has your individuation taught me? It's just a summary, And the next question, which kind of follows on from that, is just to acknowledge. Answer the question, what have I created up to now? What have I created up to now? What have I learned? What has my individuation taught me? And what have I created up to now? Then the next question, this one I really want you to, actually, I think it'd be quite useful with this question is to write a list of bullet points. So the next question is, what am I over? What do I want to let go of? What am I not taking forwards now? What am I over? What do I want to let go of? Not bring forward. What am I letting go of? The past is over, right? So just be really thorough in this in particular. This is the most important, one of the most important parts of this exercise. So just really make a list of all the things you're over and want to let go of. Whatever it is, might be people pleasing, creating drama in my life, not feeling worthy, feeling unsafe in the world, unhealthy relationships, just anything that, you just make a list of all the things from an individuation process that you're absolutely over, that you want to release, let go of, and just make a list of that. It doesn't matter how many things you have on a list, just make sure you have a clear list of things that you're absolutely over. And this is something you can always come back to another time as well. If you want to do a deeper dive, come back and rewatch the recording. But let's just capture everything that you can in the here and now. Your conscious intention that you want to let go of all this stuff that you're over. Just, you're just done with it. You can see it for what it is. It's all been made up. You're ready to let go of all of that stuff and move forwards, different orientation. So just make that full list of what you're over and wanting to let go of. And just signal to me when you're complete. I'm not going to rush you. This is a really important part of the process. Awesome, awesome. And as we're doing the next part of this exercise, some more things may come to you, and that's fine. For now, as long as you've got that real sort of like concrete list of stuff, then we can start with the letting go, which is the bridge. Past is over. Awesome. So beautiful beings, knowing that we've made it all up to this point, and we're going to make it up anew. But first of all, we really do have to give a very strong message to the subconscious: the past is over, and there's things that we're willing to let go of and we don't want to bring forward into our creative orientation. So now, beautiful beings, I would just love you to close your eyes, to get comfortable again, and just imagine that you're standing on top of a hill. It can be anywhere you like, but you're high up and you have commanding views over the whole world in front of you. And it could even be the field of purple flowers, that beautiful space we go to when we do the innocence meditation and various other things, that beautiful space when we've emerged from the forest and we're coming out into that beautiful field, and it's such a big expanse. But wherever you are, you're up somewhere high, you can see the whole world in front of you. Okay? And you just notice. And you can imagine and notice that in your hand, you're carrying a large bunch of balloons. And you're gripping onto them tightly. And each balloon represents one of the things on your list of what you're over, what you're going to let go of. And I want you to imagine and see and experience the letting go of each balloon in turn. I really want you to see each balloon as you let go of it. You can give the balloon a colour. It's got whatever it is you're letting go of printed on it or inside it or the essence of it, whatever you want it to be. But each balloon, each thing that you're letting go of, as you let it go, there's a big gust of wind and that balloon is taken up, up and away. And you can see it disappearing out of view and it's gone. It's not yours to carry anymore. You've let it go. I want you to do this with each balloon until you're absolutely complete and your hands are empty. And you're no longer carrying. Not only are you having to grip on tightly to those balloons anymore, you're choosing to let them go. But really, it's to just see each one going and disappearing, and you're just letting it go. And seeing a big gust of wind come, woof, it goes. Disappears out of sight, gone. Not yours to carry anymore. Has no power over you. And just really see and imagine experience each balloon being let go of. It's just going. It's just not wanting to carry it anymore. And you may find it easy to let go of some of the balloons. You may find as you get closer towards the end of your bunch of balloons, you're kind of like, I'm not sure I want to let go of some of this because I quite like having balloons, but honestly, we're just going to let them all go. Each individual one, each individual thing, everything from your list that you're complete on, that you're over, you're not taking forward. It's time to let go of all of that. Because part of the heaviness of our human experience and our humanness is that we carry this stuff around. But I really want you to see each balloon just, you're letting it go, and it's gust of wind comes and takes it, and it's gone. Oof. Off into the distance somewhere. Goes to that same place where thoughts and feelings and preconceptions reside that we let go of when we come into innocence. And just really see every balloon on your list of what you're over. Just let it go. Just notice how much lighter your hand feels when you're not having to clench and hold on to these balloons and hold on to the strings of them, and you can just let each one go, right? There's a lightness that comes from not having to hold on. As each one goes, it's just a bit lighter. Don't to be so tense, you can relax more. Back to your essence of your true being. Just letting it go, because it's over. The past is over. And just really see that and feel that and experience that. This is a real release, a real opportunity to release what you've been carrying and just saying, I'm over this. This is not for me anymore. It's not my truth anymore. Just let me know when you're done. And those balloons have gone up into the sky. The past is over. And so now we're at the 9 o'clock part of the swamp. So we've gone through, we remembered in Mastering the Human Journey, remember who we truly were. We've seen what's happened during individuation. We've gone on our quest and really uncovered that information and dug deep. And now we've let all that stuff go. So now it's time to come back. Let's come back, bring our treasures back to the village. And to do that, we're going to go back into our greatness again. And what I'd really like you to do is go back and reread all that you wrote down earlier about your experience of greatness, and put yourself back into that whole sensory experience of what it was like for you in your greatness. The empowerment that you felt, the mission that you knew you had, because we're going to choose now to live from that orientation, connect with that greatness again, because we know who we truly are, right? It's important that we reconnect with our true divinity, our true source. So I just want you to go back and dive back in. If you want to rise up into the golden ball of light, that's fine. It might be useful to reread what it was that you wrote to get that flavour again. It's entirely up to you which way you want to do it, whether you want to rise up into your light and remember it that way, or whether you want to go back and refresh your memory based on what you wrote previously. And putting yourself into your greatness, the next part of the completion process is the following question. What am I going to create next? What am I going to create next? What am I going to do differently now that I'm going to operate from my greatness? And how am I going to show up in the world? This is you living from your greatness, in your greatness, connected to your greatness, knowing your greatness, knowing your truth, your pure, flawless diamond self. And what are you going to create next? What are you going to do differently? What are you taking forwards now into into your new creative orientation? If you want to, write down the answer to that question. It might relate to one of your land of plenty choices or several of your land of plenty choices. It might relate to the, orientational choices of living your true nature and purpose, of being a predominant creative force in your life, being healthy and vital in all aspects, and choosing freedom to live a life you love, whatever it is, like, how you're going to bring your greatness forth into the world. Because we went on a beautiful journey today of really connecting with what it is that you're here to do, your gifts, your talents, how you show up, what it is that you're here to do, how you're here to sort of, be a leading light for others, and what it is that you have to share, the wisdom of your experience, leading by example, all of that. Let's really just capture that. Concretize by writing it down. We're concretizing what it is, what we're choosing to do from now on in. We're choosing to live from our greatness. We're choosing to come back to the village with all the treasures that we have. And to share the magic. And connecting with your glorious greatness. And also, what I invite you to do once the class is over, you might just find it really useful to actually write out and reconcretize everything that you experience in your greatness and who you are, even just a list of things, and then have it in front of you. Just constantly remind yourself who you are in your greatness. Define yourself in your greatness every day. Choose to be in the world from the space of your greatness. Choosing to embody that, be that, choosing that as your creative orientation. On that, let's just concretize with a couple of shares about what people are going to be doing differently before we then do just a little closing ceremony. I think come full circle. So beautiful people, what are you going to create next? How are you going to be showing up? What are you going to be doing differently? And what's it like with the letting go exercise as well? There's some shares around that. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for kicking us off. And Aileen.
Yeah, the letting go was really beautiful with the balloons. It was funny when you were saying that, I was like, oh, I don't remember my whole list when you're like one by one, but then it was so easy when I started doing it. and yeah, just like the gust of wind just like put a smile on my face. I was like, like you just see it shooting away. And yeah, I'm going to create now a life with abundance of love, self-love, loyalty, self-loyalty, wholeness, just being my authentic self, unmasked. Just yeah, really that sense of like being bare, like naked and complete in that. That came through again. So just really unleashing my power into the world as well, and just being magical, you know. So really leaning into our amazing abilities that we have when we are tuned into our greatness, and then yeah, sprinkling love all in the world.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for kicking us off, Lauren. That's beautiful. Aileen, what were you going to share, my lovely?
Yeah, the letting go process was really good. I changed it slightly because I wanted it to get out of my body. So I felt there's a bit where I was hiding, myself, and where I couldn't, wasn't allowed to be myself. I was just going blown up, and it's like once I got all that out, and then it's like I just let it go from there, or let that hot air go, and it went sort of like so. And then did the next one of yeah, not allowing, always being suppressed. I was always being, told to shut up, be quiet, sort of like that. And then again, blowing that up and, letting that all out, getting it out of my body. And then, so
Fantastic.
it was fun at the same time doing that, sort of like letting that go and,
Yeah.
type thing. But yeah, I just felt I needed to get it out of the body. So that was
Brilliant.
really, really good. And then what am I going to create next? I've got a retreat coming up that I'm planning. So just going to get full on being, I'm usually confident doing my retreats, but I had someone else ask me today, it's like, oh, where's the rest of your workshops? Usually put on 2 a year? And I have, because this year's gone so fast, I haven't put on another workshop. I haven't put a workshop on with doing the retreat. And I'm like, okay, it just gives me that kick up the bum to go, right, I've just put down a date of October. I'm going to put one on for October for the retreat, for a workshop. And yeah, just living my best life and allowing myself to shine on stage, to talk, being in my power again. So all that suppression where, sort of like I wasn't allowed to, it's what I'm here to do.
Amazing. Fantastic, Aileen. Thank you. That's a really brilliant share. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anyone else like to share their experience of, yeah, thanks, Rachel, letting go, and what next? And Surinder.
I found the letting go really like amazing. It was really sort of it sort of took it from something conceptual to something real kind of thing. And so and I just really felt like the stuff that I've been attached to really just flying off into the air and leaving. So that was really good. And what I'm creating is I'm going to live from magic and be the magic maker, and just make that the every part of my day, rather than like, doing my choices and it comes out for a little bit in the day. I want to be really living that essence from every part of the day. So
Fantastic, Rachel. Thank you. That's amazing. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Awesome. And Surinder.
Yes. So for me, the experience was very physical. So as I was letting go of the balloon, first I was holding them very tight, and then just like my arm was shaking. It was shaking. It was like literally a physical experience for me on my arm. And it was, I could just feel the release of the things that I've been holding on to. So that was really an interesting experience. But I was just looking at the balloons and naming them as they were flying off, just so I could acknowledge them and let them go. And for me, what I wish to create is a beautiful life I love, being my true creative nature and purpose, freedom to be me. And I'm going to show up from my beauty, from my heart. And one of the things that I recognize, and it's been coming up for me a couple of times, is you know, loving, feeling and being loved by source itself, and being love, joy, and connection, and just allowing that to come into the world.
Amazing. Beautiful share. Thank you, Surinder. Thank you. Chris, did you want to say anything? You don't have to if you're fine.
No, I just think it was very good. It's good completion. And basically it's the creation that I'm doing. It's obviously it's becoming more clear. It's just basically reclaiming of power and taking the appropriate actions that come along as they do, and just focusing on that. So
Fantastic. And choosing to
that
live
was
from
good.
greatness. Yeah, choosing
Yeah.
to live from greatness, because isn't that a much, you know, even when we embody it and feel it, it just feels so much better than being in the grot, doesn't it? You know, that lightness of being, the power that we all feel, that we all know that we have, but has been pushed down in us because it had to be. We couldn't come in as all powerful beings, otherwise we wouldn't have experienced our humanness. So, but it's good to know that we can now do differently and create differently. And so thank you all very much for coming. What I'd love to do just before we finish as a lovely close, is to do the bowing down exercise. You might remember this from CYD, but it's basically where each of us connect with our own greatness, rising up into our beautiful greatness. And not only that, but we also acknowledge and bow down to the greatness of every single one of us that's in the room here. You know, because that amplifies our greatness, it keeps us in our greatness, and then we'll go out from here in our greatness. Everyone is happy to do that. So just rising up into your beautiful greatness, all of us, into our beautiful golden balls of light, and just really settling into the lusciousness, expansiveness, joyousness of being, blissfulness of being in our greatness. And choosing that that's how we are going to be from now on. We've reconnected with it fully, and we're not going to let that connection go again. And any point, any time, we know that the golden ball of our greatness just sits about a metre or so above our head. It's that beautiful, brilliant sun. And at any point, in order to reorientate us in this life that we're living here, to reconnect with our true purpose and our true mission, we just rise up into our greatness. We adjust our crowns, remember who we are, and we acknowledge not only our own greatness and really understanding that and feeling that, but also honouring the greatness of every single one of us here. And those watching the recording as well, we honour your greatness too. We all have greatness, we all have a heart. And just acknowledge everyone's greatness. You know, we're all dropped in the same ocean. Isn't it wonderful that we have this beautiful connection? So not only do we have our own uniqueness and gifts and talents and purpose and mission that we've come here to do and what we've come to embody, but also that we're just also all connected as well. And together we can just amplify the magic that we're creating in the world, and even from our hearts, and just remembering who we really are and choosing that. Connecting with everyone's greatness in the room, bow down to all of your greatness. And thank you so much for showing up today, for playing full out, for your generous shares. And I hope you've enjoyed our session today. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Nikki. It was amazing.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Thanks.
Yep. My absolute pleasure. Go and live your
Nikki.
beautiful,
Thank
magical
you.
lives. Yeah. Love you lots. You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank
Cheerio,
you.
everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.